Good evening. The parents of a 4-month-old baby from Somerset say he's very lucky to be alive after an out-of-hours doctor injected him with an overdose of the wrong drug. Dr. Stephen Boateng has since been reported to the General Medical Council by the private company which employed him. It's emerged he wasn't registered with his local primary care trust, as he should have been under government guidelines. Here's our health correspondent Matthew Hill.
Baby Carson Bates is now a picture of tranquility, but only 2 months ago he was bent double with stomach pain. His parents took him to see an out-of-hours GP in Weston. The doctor then injected Carson with what he thought was a muscle relaxant. In fact, it was the wrong drug, used on infants as a pre-medication before an operation. They were discharged home, but luckily for Carson, his grandfather was around and, as a trained fireman, had some medical skills.
He was sort of in a trance. You could see his eyes were sort of fixed and he wasn't aware that he was there or anything. And so I picked him out of the car seat and then he just started shaking sort of violently, and I said to Phil, get to Bristol as fast as you can but as safe as you can, basically.
When we actually got him in the hospital, they had a job pinning him to the bed, the doctors, to, put an decapitator in him.
Hospital staff had to establish how much of this drug had been given.
I showed him how much he had given because I seen him do it, and he said, oh, it is right what he said then, it's nearly 3 times the amount of what he should have actually had. But he said if you hadn't brought him straight away, then who knows what could have happened to him.
We've not been able to contact the GP, but in a letter to the parents, Dr. Stephen Boateng has apologised for his mistake. He says the only reason for it happening was because he didn't notice he was very tired and exhausted during that shift, having worked for another organisation for 3 overnight shifts in Portsmouth that week. All GPs are supposed to be registered with a primary care trust on their performers list, but we understand that Dr. Boateng was not on any such list. Now, Harmony say they did check up with Portsmouth Primary Care Trust to see if the doctor was on their performers list, and were told that as he worked for other out-of-hours providers, he must be. In fact, he wasn't, but was in the process of applying. Carson is now doing well, though his family are considering legal action. Matthew Hill, BBC Points West, Weston.
The funeral of 6-year-old Liam Hogan, who was killed when he fell with his father from a hotel balcony in Greece, will be held in Bradley Stoke next Tuesday. His mother Natasha released a statement today saying she wanted to set the record straight about what happened. Her husband, 32-year-old John Hogan, hadn't been drinking, and she said his actions were completely out of character. Police in Wiltshire released details of a month-long crackdown on motorists using handheld mobile phones while driving. They say 300 people have been stopped and fined in their area so far. Currently the fine is just £30, but that could rise to £60 and 3 penalty points from next year. Baggage handlers at Bristol International Airport are threatening to walk out over the bank holiday weekend. They say the workload and conditions are unbearable and pay isn't enough to compensate. More than 200 staff are planning to refuse to load or unload planes on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Talks are continuing, but the company Service Air says contingency plans mean major delays will be avoided. One of Britain's last independent luxury car makers, which is based in Bristol, is celebrating its 60th anniversary. While many famous names have disappeared over the years, Bristol Cars is still in full production. Our business correspondent Malcolm Frith reports.
Bristol cars don't come cheap. When they are new, they cost thousands of pounds, and even when they're over 50 years old, they will still set you back thousands. You see, Bristol cars were designed and built to last. And those who own them believe they are the best cars in the world.
Whoever designed it, it's just perfection.
As someone who now lives in Cleveland, just outside Bristol, there's something rather nice about driving a car that's made on your doorstep.
And it's here where they were made, an anonymous building on a trading estate at Patchway near Bristol. Since 1946, Bristol cars have produced around 2,800 vehicles. And motor industry analysts estimate that the car company produces around 3 cars every month. And their latest model, the Bristol Fighter, will set you back a cool £230,000. Bristol cars have always had a reputation for being superbly designed and hand-built. This philosophy came from its original owners, the Bristol Aeroplane Company at Filton. And while captains of industry and pop stars may purchase them, not everyone believes Bristol cars are a good buy.
The Bristol car would have been absolutely brilliant in 1846, but it's now not that. If you want to go back in time and you haven't got a TARDIS, get a Bristol.
But with such a niche market, can the company survive when so many other British car manufacturers have long gone?
Nowadays, to make a car, especially to make a new car, a new model, is, I believe, unbelievably expensive. But I understand that the latest Bristol is doing very well, and it's a wonderful looking car.
And these enthusiasts would agree. For them, the Bristol car is a masterpiece of British craftsmanship in a world of mass production. Malcolm Firth, BBC, Points West.
Finally to the weather, Richard Angwin has our late forecast.
Well, the weather for this evening and tonight looking to be largely dry. In fact, there should be some reasonable clear spells developing out there, allowing temperatures to drop to around about 11 degrees. Now, tomorrow it's likely to start off dry, but we will find it gradually clouding up, and certainly during the afternoon there's a possibility of some very light and patchy rain. Temperatures tomorrow under that cloud struggling to a high of around 20 degrees.
Well, that's all from the Points West newsroom tonight. Our next bulletin is in Breakfast News tomorrow morning. Now back to Darren in London. From us, good night.